See, I think the underlying theme to what we're talking about is these experiences that we're designing for students are authentic in nature. There's a realism to what they're doing. If you listen to the students speak, they talk about their businesses, their roles. Our web designer did. You see, they take an experience. It's not, often in education we hear this phrase, it's like real life. To these students, it's not like real life. It is real life to them. So it's an opportunity in this academy, our programs, to really engage students in a way where they become real-life participants. Now, our current courses, we have a diverse number of courses that are currently running right now. We have our IT R&D, our biology courses, our skills-based courses in digital literacy, earth science, e-commerce, digital media, and movie making. And we've had extreme success with these courses. And now we want to talk a little bit about how the academy builds on our methods and our successes. You see, if we think about the programs, our programs really exist in isolation, and then students come together to present based on their different programs. But the academy is different. You see, the academy is a systemic approach to learning. It's a scope and sequence where skills, knowledge, and dispositions are built on over time. So the academy is an encompassing concept of a school within a school. The program, students come into our program and they become a part of the program for their 4 years within the high school environment. And let's take a look. Oops, sorry, it talks too fast for me. I'll try it again, so that way I can finish my sentence in. So we have this systemic approach. Now let's look at how students view their roles in this systemic, well, we're not in the systemic approach yet. That's where we're going to. But their roles as real, valued members of a community of practice, having a role as a scientist, having a role as a marketing person, having the role of the web designer. Now let's take a look at some of those students. I really love how the students talk about the difference that the teachers make to them, and I think that's, again, critical to our programs, that interaction of teachers and students working together for authentic work. All right, so let's get into some of the nuts and bolts of how this program is designed to work. First of all, this is part of the big picture. We consider our program part of a pathway to workforce competitiveness, the sense that we have a middle school component. Those are specifically targeted already with the CPEP program, the high school program that we're talking about today, the academy, high school academy, and then the transition of how students can get and earn college credits through the community college system and earn credits based on the program that we are offering, creating the pathway to STEM success. This is the scope and sequence of the program. And again, this is a sequenced program, 9 to 12. And the program has, students will be taking traditional high school courses in their schools, and then within the academy, we have math course for 2 years, and we have science courses for 4 years, and then a technology course as well. Students are required to follow the sequence of science, technology courses throughout, and they are ordered very specifically to develop skills to promote students to levels of excellence throughout the program. Each course builds on its previous course, so the sequence is very important in this process. We have, in addition to the traditional courses, or the courses that would take place in the school, we also have a college readiness module to prepare students for preparations for college, which would most likely be done through a guidance counselor within the school, and the students all will complete a capstone experience within it. As many of the high school people probably recognize already, this is in alignment with all Connecticut state science standards and with the high school redesign philosophy with the capstone experience. Okay, so if we move on, the commitment for students for the program. This is, we would start in 2011, and we are asking that schools implement this program with a cohort of students, a group of students that would work together in their science and technology classes and math courses. And you can see in the course structure in the second column, the freshman year there's a science, technology, and math course, 24 students, 3 teachers. Now, depending on how a school would staff that, it's 0.2 teachers, so it's a 0.6 full-time equivalent of teacher for the program. In the second year, so now if we follow these students follow this path. So these are the same students here. And if we go to the green students, these are the same students, the dark blue and the light blue students as well. So in 2012, again, a new cohort of students would come in, and then the second, and then the original freshmen, now sophomores, would follow through. So this gives a breakdown of the number of students per school that would be part of the academy. 24 students in the first year, 48, 72, 96, and then the teaching requirement spaces to implement the academy. Obviously, those students wouldn't be in a traditional program, so the staffing requirements is basically a shift at that point. Okay. Now, one of the important things that we talked about, and Representative Murphy spoke about this as well, is that we're looking for evidence that the model works. And so as part of this experience and part of this grant, we are conducting a longitudinal research study. This research study is integral to the process of the program. And actually, we are committing almost a quarter of the resources of this grant to the study, because we need to know if the model works effectively or not. So as part of the study, we are conducting 2 cohorts of students. The first 2 cohorts that come in, we will do a longitudinal study, and we will follow these students over their 4 years. So even though the grant is 5 years, this planning being year 1, there's actually a 5th year, 6th year of the grant, to follow the last group of students in the second cohort. Now, part of the design of the study is to have a group of students that are in the academy, and the school would also have to identify a group of non-academy students to be in our comparison group for the study. I think in terms of operationalizing it, the first year is fairly easy because you can take an intact group of students in 9th grade. However, in subsequent years, the comparison group study, unlike the treatment study or the students in the academy, are unlikely to be cohorted together. So we recognize that challenge, but it is a critical and important challenge in conducting the research study, that we be able to follow 2 groups of students, students in the academy and students outside of the academy. And that is part of the requirements of the program. Our financial commitment in the process is for our teachers. We're going to provide summer professional development that is part and parcel to what we do. We train teachers with high-quality professional development, and we pay them to participate in the professional development experience. Recognizing the importance of the research study, we are also attaching financial payments for completion of data collection within the study. So our pretest survey data, both for our longitudinal study and for our evaluation process, we'll pay the teachers for that. Participation in the expo, we are paying for participation, and we are paying for participation for post-test data. We are also going to ask that each school identify a site coordinator, and that site coordinator will liaise with the center for organization of programming, for organization of research study, so we can facilitate good communication between, and we have a point person in each school to work with. Okay. We also can provide schools with supplies and technology funds. The money will be done through Education Connection, and we will tailor that money to the needs of the individual schools. So if a school is in need of a projector, an LCD projector, that can be part of the funding, but if your school says, well, we've got those resources already, we don't need them, we can leverage the money in a different way and use it for supplies and technology that best meet the needs of the academy schools. In In terms of next steps, I'd like to talk a little bit about, and then we'll get into some question and answer so we can address your questions. We would need a letter of commitment for schools for participation. We have a model letter that is in your packet. It is tri-folded, so you can see what that looks like. The letter is also on the flash drive. So if you'd like to use it, the electronic copy is on the flash drive for you. The flash drive also contains an electronic PDF version of the booklet, which has a lot of this information we've just spoken about. And I'm forgetting what the third thing is on it. Emily, are you here? The expo video that we just watched is also on there as well. So, and the Q&A, the FAQ is also on there as well. Okay. Now, the center staff is able and willing and very much wanting to visit any sites that would need us to come out and explain to other people, other administrators, whatever we need to do to build that capacity to help you implement the program. We are very excited and willing to come out right away, basically, to come visit your schools, to come visit your central offices, whatever you need. If you need us to meet with faculty and parents, we are able to do that. We can do, if any schools have 8th grade orientation nights they would like us to speak at, we can come and speak at those. So whatever you need for center staff to help you in the facilitation process, we can provide that. And of course, we are available here regularly, and you can contact us by phone or email. So that, at this point, is an overview of what the Academy is, and the Academy is you guys. So we facilitate the implementation of Academy, and so we need, if we can provide you with feedback and questions, if you have any feedback for us, we're more than willing to listen, and we'll answer the questions the best we can. The center staff is here, so if they can help me in any way answer some of these questions, you know, as I said, I've been here for 2 months, so I'm almost the newest on board, but I hope I've wrapped my head around this well enough to implement the program in a way that's very meaningful for students to engage them in great ways. So questions at this point?
Great. Just one thing is I saw your list about staffing.
Yes.
The .60 and those things.
Yeah.
These are classes that students would be taking anyway.
Yes.
We're talking about science, so it's not new staff.
No.
Submitting staff to this course.
No, absolutely not. I think probably, you know, being a high school person myself, I recognize probably the biggest challenge would be scheduling these students as a cohort together. So that I think, there's really no staffing issue involved because it would be a teacher in a teaching slot that would be teaching these students someplace else or teaching another place. The challenge for us is to integrate that as a cohort. Or the challenge for you, not for us. But other questions that we can answer? Go ahead.
Where did math fit in? Did you invite us here?
Yes. Well, the math is part of the program. We have, and as we've...
Do you have a full curriculum for it?
The Algebra 1 will have a full curriculum this year. The Geometry will have a full curriculum in the second year. And we recognize there are potential issues with that. I think a lot of those issues we're going to deal with as the program, as we discuss with individual schools what their needs are for math. We recognize that math is very high stakes with NCLB, so we will discuss your specific math needs if we have a problem with the model here. However, the scope and sequence is critical in the process. Go ahead.
Just along the math line, so you talk about the algebra 21 and you have that place in the 9th grade.
Right.
We're one of the districts that's really looking at moving algebra to the
8th grade, right.
With about 100% of our students. So I don't know if that would mean that the 8th grade would be on board, you know, with the 21, or if they come up with the geometry, if that would be.
Yeah. You know, in a sense, this grant is designed to become a model. So within the program, this would be a high school program, and what would most likely happen is our geometry course was developed, that would be the math class that your 9th grade students would be able to take. We're not able to have the geometry course at the level we demand it be at for the fall. We're going to have the algebra course at that level. So we want to make sure our resources, we have to put out absolutely the highest quality possible. And at this point, we don't feel comfortable saying we can have an algebra and a geometry ready for the fall. We want to make sure everything we have is ready. But in subsequent years, the algebra and geometry will both be available and ready to go.